This is particularly clear if we pay close attention to the wording of the first of the two texts that we gave earlier. And Elohim created the Adam in his image. In the image of Elohim he created him. Male and female he created them. And again, on the day when Elohim created Adam, he made him in the image of Elohim. Male and female he created them. And he blessed them and called their name Adam on the day they were created. This oscillation and the insistence that male and female are made to the image of God and together receive the name Adam forces us to say that the sacred text is teaching that the Adam is the image of God insofar as the Adam exists concretely in relationship to one another as male and female. That is, male and female are different realizations of the one reality of image as royal representative capable of being addressed by God and of imitating him and worshiping him. Now, part of this image reality, which is unique in Adam as male and female, is realized in obedience to the command, be fruitful, be many, fill the earth, subjugate it. And this contradicts the notion that gender is irrelevant in considering the essence of human nature. Okay. Now this moves into the sphere of the creation of Eve as a helper matching Adam. We see that despite the fact that he can somehow share the life of God and relate to him in a personal trust, the Lord God sees that Adam's being alone is not good. And he says, let us make a companion, a helper matching him. Now, grammatically, the words don't reveal the gender of the helper, but they do evoke the notion that the helper is destined to overcome the solitude of Adam by matching him. And then when Adam wakes up, he says, this one, at last, is bone from my bone and flesh from my flesh. This one shall be called woman, for from man was this one taken. The helper is someone who matches Adam, but the helper is not a replica. She is woman, Isa, because she is taken from and yet differs from man. When Adam names her, Adam himself gets a new name. Her presence matching him is a revelation of whom both of them are in relationship to each other. The theological genius who articulates this deep reality in regard to humanity sees its full realization in the marriage relationship. Adam is the image of God in relationship to one another, in covenant relationship in marriage with its fruitfulness. This one is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh is covenant language. See? At David, 2 Samuel 5:1, when the tribes of Israel approached David at Hebron to ask him to accept the kingship, they described themselves as your bone and your flesh, you see. It's precisely because of this unique covenant that a man leaves his father and his mother and cleaves to his wife, and they become one flesh. See, the degree of alienation from our own physicality that we Westerners experience make it hard for us to understand the one-flesh relationship spoken of here. By marrying, a man assumes as his primary relationship that which he has with his wife, with whom he makes a new family, which is the meaning of flesh in Hebrew. One flesh means one family. And that covenant relationship sealed, fostered, and deepened through spiritual, emotional, physical intercourse, the two human beings create a third reality, a communion of persons that has as its fruit new human life. And the expression of this free and unveiled communication, which is fruitful, is found in the concluding line of Genesis chapter 2. They were both naked, the man and his wife, and they felt no shame with each other. All right, to summarize the main points here, you can see where this is going and why this is all inconsistent with same-sex marriage. Remember Paul. Paul says that homosexuality and idolatry are related closely. Why? Because the homosexual is worshiping a false god. That might mean that he has physical pleasure as his final end, but I don't think it means that. I think it means something more profound. What it means is that idolatry is connected to the imago Dei, right? Idolatry is wrong because it gets the image of God wrong, and getting the image of God wrong, it gets the human person wrong. Why? Because the human person is the image of God. Okay? So, and then what does it mean for man to be the image of God? For the man to be the image of God, the Adam has to be in relation to someone besides himself. He has to be in relationship to someone who is in an asymmetrical relationship with someone who is related but also paradigmatically other. See? It's only in the relationship of the two that the image of God as relationship is fully realized. See? This goes to this plays out theologically in different ways. You have the relationship, all of theology is about relationship. You have the relationship between creation and creator, okay, which the Bible opens with. You have the relationship between man and woman, which together make up the image of God, and with the safeguarding of which relationship is somehow needed to avoid defacing the image of God, and therefore defacing, idolatry, getting around or avoiding idolatry. We see that this relationship of the image of God is realized fully in the relationship between Christ and His church. See, Christ relates to the church as the same and different. He is human and divine, and the church is the same and different. She relates to Him as the body, His body, the bride, the same because He shares divine life with her, and yet irreversibly different. The church is and is not divine at the same time. It is in a marital relationship with Christ. And then all of creation, the Scriptures say, is headed for a consummation of the relationship between God through Christ and all of the rest of His creation. And that relationship is described on the last page of the Bible as bridal. The Spirit and the bride say, "Come." See? So we're in very deep waters here. We're in very deep waters here. And there's something symbolic and paradigmatically wrong about homosexual relationships which reflect a kind of idolatry. That is to say, they reflect a kind of getting wrong the basic image of the human person in asymmetrical complementary relationship. That is why it can never be sacramentalized. You see, you can't sacramentalize a deformation. Does this make sense? Have I said enough to make sense why the Catholic Church could not really sacramentalize a same-sex union? All right, that's enough of that. I mean, it's interesting, and I hope I've said enough, but I think it's time to move on if I'm going to talk about anything else.